We're sitting with the Sosk on a porch this week with Abbie De Vera. We're going behind the scenes on what it's like to launch a live TV segment on broadcast TV. We talk the art of the pitch, how collaboration is key, her forays into documentary filmmaking, with lots of shout-outs to the melting pot of artists that make up Tulsa. Follow your passion to the porch, people. It's about to get saucy. Sitting with the Sosk, coming to your ears now, produced by Streamliner. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. This is Sitting with the Sosk, and I have a very special guest at the table who has been wonderfully kind to this show, wonderfully kind to me as an artist. And I've loved watching, she has a segment on Channel 6 called The Porch. Mm-hmm. And she was kind enough fairly early when I started The Sandbox, she invited me to come on and talk about it. And then a year later, gave me another opportunity to come talk about it. And I've seen her give a hand to the entertainment community in and around Tulsa in so many different ways. Abbie De Vera, welcome to the table.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for letting me interview you.
I was so excited. Excited to be here.
Yeah. What is that like now? Because we'll go back, but just since we were on the show in the porch, how did you find yourself there to do like a segment?
So I should go back 6 years when I got a job at another television station.
Who shall not be named.
Who shall not be named. No. But I worked at two of the other radio stations here. I keep saying radio stations because we're in a podcast.
Yeah.
Local news. And I gained a background experience in covering news stories here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right.
Which you really do have to understand it. You have to understand this market and connect with it in a way in order to be successful and tell the stories that are from this area.
The ones they care about, right? It's going to be its own audience. Every
Yes.
community is going to have its own audience.
Absolutely.
So that lets you into the stories that matter to them.
Yes, and stories that I'm excited about. So when this job opening came up at News on 6, I can say that because I work there.
Yeah.
The description was everything that I would want. So it's to give a platform, highlight, a spotlight artists, actors, filmmakers, musicians. We've had combat fighting on, but whatever's different.
One of we were talking. He visited us.
It's a small world.
One of the first promos that I did for this when I first got the idea to do the show. These guys brought me in here, showed me the studio. And the next thing I know, I'm hanging out with people with armor on.
That's right, because they're connected to the studio for sure. But and that's amazing as well. We have featured them on the porch. I mean, it can be anything that is out of the box that people in Tulsa and beyond need to know about.
Yeah.
And exciting things that are almost the opposite of what typical news is, like the fire down the street or the shooting, you know.
How now do you chase it?
I think
are people reaching out and saying, because this has now become something that I'm sure is sought after by people to sort of have a voice.
Absolutely. It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I love coming across someone at an event, talking to them, and they don't realize that they're a great potential guests for the porch because they have a story. But you can have a story and it may not be the right platform to be on the porch to share your story. It may be a reporter story. But for me, it's someone who can connect in a conversation.
Yes.
And they have that muscle that when you go to parties or events, they just can connect and have a conversation and throw back ideas and share what their passions are. It's 3 minutes of someone sharing their passion, whatever that might be.
Do you focus on, was the original idea to focus on entertainment to a certain extent? Because it's
artists and creativity.
Artists and creativity.
And I think, and it's because I vibe with creativity as well, with my background in film. And I love, this is honestly my dream job. I get to uplift artists who are so deserving of the spotlight when, you know, many of the news media, they don't tell their stories.
Yeah.
So they get to come on the porch. And
one of my
them.
things is the ABCs, which is something I stole from Mammoth, but always be creating. And that's what I love that you're tapped into in this. So let's go back. Are you from Tulsa?
I am not. I I was born in Germany because my dad was a journalist for Time magazine.
Oh my God.
So we traveled around the world.
What an opportunity.
Yes. It was, so Germany, Jerusalem, the Philippines, China.
Holy
and
cow.
Then,
are you just zooming in and doing a story and leaving, or are you staying there for months at a time?
He would work for the Bureau for a year and a half, 2 years, and then we would go to the next place. And then we settled in the DC area, where he eventually retired and then started speaking at colleges and things like that. He was still a journalist. He still wrote books and things like that. So, but I wanted to be in theater, film.
Right.
So I went to drama school in England. It's called Webber Douglas Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Wow.
Minnie Driver went there, and a lot of other actors that graduate from there.
Why did you go overseas? This isn't it.
Well, because my dad was British, and it was a great opportunity, and it opened up for me. So I thought, I'm going to jump on this, and it was an amazing experience, really intense. You would be at drama school for 12 hours a day sometimes if you're working on a project, and those our teachers, our professors were intense. They did not hold back. Well, I mean, you're going to school, you want to know the truth, and you want to know what you can work on.
And but different time in teaching though too, right?
Yeah.
I right out of college, I went to the. We got an opportunity to do an English translation of the Brothers Karamazov all throughout Russia.
Amazing.
So we were performing at the Moscow Theater of the Arts, doing this show. Shout out to my TTTs. For any of you guys that listen, thank you for tuning in. I'm just sending you all some love because that was such an amazing adventure. But we got to do a couple different classes. Wow. And one was with this guy who was like, thought we were all full of shit, man. Why am I suddenly not saying fuck? Oh, because you have your son here.
Yeah.
But then there was a common bond, and there was something that was learned. And then we went when we were in Ufa, which is like where
I don't know what that is.
Like a young group of actors and us.
Wow.
And we totally met in the middle. And I just remember so many. It's just such a. If you have the opportunity to study, to learn, to teach, to learn overseas.
Yes.
Oh my Lord.
Different cultures.
Yeah.
You can learn from anyone.
Perspective, a different point of view. Something's going to land on you from their culture.
Yeah.
That creatively sparked something.
It opens up your mind, I think. And then it lends itself to anywhere you're going to be in life, like in Tulsa, to connect with other people.
So you're in London.
So in London, and then I came back. I eventually went to Los Angeles, where I was for 15 years, but I'm not this typical Hollywood cookie cutter actress, and I wish I embraced it more in my 20s. But I got to be on a lot of films that went to film festivals, and I pounded the pavement. I was involved with a wonderful acting class. It was an on-camera class, and I learned a lot. And then
did you end up having, because usually when you take a class, there's someone in there that you had a chance to work with. Was there anybody in the class that sort of has gone on to do something that you had a chance to work with?
I did write, produce, and direct a web series, and I Taft-Hartley'd 30 people.
Oh, nice.
Into the SAG union.
That's dope.
That was, I turned Hollywood upside down, and the leading ladies were no longer a size 2, but they were a size 22, and all society aspired to look like that. It was
fun.
Yeah. So it was comedy, drama, and we had several episodes, and it ended up going to a couple film festivals, but nothing came of it, which is very typical Hollywood. But I got to experience. Yeah.
The film festival ride is a ride in and of itself.
Oh,
I'm
for
just experiencing that right now. Shout out to the Little Rock Film Festival, or Rock City, now it's called. It was made in Arkansas. They're showing my film, 2 of my films this weekend. We've been nominated for things. So just thank you all. Check out the film festival in Little Rock. It's it'll now, as Sasha always tells me, you will have missed it because it probably already happened. But next year.
It's great exposure, though. You get to connect with people. People see your work. They think of you for other projects.
Oh my God!
So I love film festivals.
So L.A. So we got London, we got L.A. Now what gets us to Okie?
So life, and my friends of mine had moved to Tulsa, and they invited me out. I thought, okay, I'll go 2 years tops. It was 11 years ago. And I'll be back in LA. And life kept me here. Tulsa's been good to me, but I really still wanted to do something consistent with film or media or television. And that's why I got into broadcast news here, because film wasn't bouncing off the walls like it is now. The last, I think, 4 years, I'm riding a wave. Like, there is a wave happening in the independent community here, independent film community. And,
please talk about it more. I feel
PJ, you are a huge leader.
Oh, that's very
in this.
Sweet.
Yeah. In fact, I'm part of the board of the American Theater Company, and you've been booked twice in the theater. And I'm like, I know PJ.
They're good, really good folks.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's very.
You're doing a lot.
Well, and I have had you read at the Sandbox.
I did.
You did a great freaking job.
I hope she's going to do that project. I hope that project comes to fruition.
See this? This is why I do the Sandbox, everybody, because here's an artist who got a chance to read something and really wanted to make it happen.
Those characters are amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know
really
those stories and the way there was such humor in her writing. I think we need stories like that, characters like that.
There's some great writing that's coming out of the Sandbox. I feel like everybody's game is kind of increasing. It's cool to see.
It's authenticity. I'm seeing authenticity at its best.
That means so much to me because it's an overused word. But shout out to you, Charlie Sandlin. You have been very kind in saying that the thing that he really likes about the podcast is it's authentic.
It's authentic. It's real.
That there's an excitement, and there is. I've always come at this with joy because I can't stop myself. So that's what was exciting about me to talk about. So you've seen now the industry because you've been doing the porch for how long?
So I was hired in 2023 of November, and then it launched January 2nd.
Wow.
Do you want to hear a funny story about that day?
Please.
So
tell me.
I'm not going to tell who it is. We had booked politician and to be the first guest ever when we're launching
on the
this.
porch.
Yes. The night before, 8 p.m., he's coming, no problem.
Right.
I get there and find an email an hour before we're supposed to go live for this huge Coca Cola Porch segment.
That's everybody. Here it comes.
I know, he canceled. So
what did you do?
Because I had connections from the other two stations I'd worked at for the last 5 years. I literally just got my phone out. Now, the person I called was my last interview that I did at the first station because Danny Boy O'Connor had been in.
Danny Boy, shout out to my boy Danny Boy.
I interviewed him for Kid 90, who it was the documentary on Hulu from Soleil Moonfry, who I'd actually also met in LA. So that was like another crazy connection. And I woke him up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I said, could you come to the porch, my new segment? I mean, no one really knew what it was yet. And he said, I'll be there. And he did, and it was a great segment, you know? Everyone was,
okay.
Do you want to do a shot? 100%.
Fantastic. I'm going to do a shot to you, Daddy Boy. I have, is this okay, bourbon?
Yes. I was talking about bourbon the other day.
I love it. This is, he's got, so that's great that so had he had the outsider house at that point?
Yes.
So that's where you were kind of
he's just stepped down in the last month, which I sent him a message offline to say thank you for supporting all of media. He's been so friendly and available to the media for interviews, whatever it might be. But yes, this is to Danny Boy O'Connor.
Thanks for doing her a solid, dog. Thanks for doing me a solid, coming to mine.
Yes. He's very Tulsa in a good way.
Wonderful energy.
It's great.
Bullet never did you wrong.
Ooh. Thank you.
Sounds weird. Oh, my pleasure.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's get saucy. What's the weirdest segment? I mean, without throwing any shade, we can be vague, but give us, come on, that's what we're doing.
I'm totally going to talk about this. I don't care if I get in trouble.
Come on now, come on.
So I don't even remember who the guest was, but
she's going to talk.
I do remember the segment went on, and then Tess, the main host, came down.
Yeah.
And she said, "Did you hear that flushing of the toilet when we first opened the segment?"
Right.
And I said no, because I wasn't online. I was watching it live in the studio. And so I didn't see what the people on television would have heard.
Okay.
But someone with a mic, and I'm not going to say who, went to the restroom and they did not turn off the mic.
Like before the interview, or after?
Welcome to the Coca Cola Porch, and then
oh no.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
And so we cut it out just so. I mean, it must have been a nonprofit or something a little bit more serious. But I, if anything, I could have died. But I just, it's live TV.
Yeah,
you're gonna get that, and then, the message still came across with the guest. I remember it being a solid interview. But
ladies and gentlemen, if you're on a set, if you're being interviewed, if you go to the bathroom, make sure you're not on a hot mic.
Yes.
Nobody needs to hear that.
But there's
somebody
2
will.
people
Right,
that could have
Sasha?
made sure. Yeah, it is horrifying. So I don't know, weird. I will say a majority of my guests the segments are amazing because of the collaboration. I send questions out. No one else really does that.
Yeah.
But I want to know what is beyond your website, what is beyond your Facebook page, what's beyond your flyer for your event. I want to know, I'm going to ask questions where I'll get quotes, for the web story, the little secrets, the things that, the nuances that people
I remember
don't know about.
when you presented, like, you sure you want to know? Buckle up, because I'm going to throw you.
It's a collab, but it ends up being successful because I get the voice. What do you want to share?
Yeah.
So, but then I've had some guests who are sort of a little resistant to that, or don't get the questions back until I keep begging for them and things like that.
Sure.
Or if we're trying to decide on a song, they get a little upset. But I said, this is a collaboration. I'm not going to tell you what you're going to do, but I will tell you what I think. And so, which is, I think, what you should do on any film set, when you're working with people.
I had a friend of mine is filming a really exciting TV show that's filming here in Tulsa.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And he came to the show, and I don't want to mention, but he had... I shouldn't talk about it.
Can you talk about it? You don't want to talk about it even without names?
I shouldn't.
Okay. I will say that a lot of people are trying to get on that set, even as background. And guess who's been on that set twice is, no, not me. Not me. My cinematographer, who Tanner Ray, has been an extra on that. And I said, do not start filming with your camera. It is so unprofessional. And of course, that's what he does, because he does these amazing documentaries for YouTube, and he just got into the Dead Center Film Festival.
Yeah, no, is this a doc? It's his doc, because you have a couple documentaries as well that you're working on.
Yes, absolutely. So I'll talk about that.
Do it.
Yeah, so the first one was, I was actually at the Circle Cinema Film Festival last year thinking, I want a story. I want a documentary where I could fuse my filmmaking experience and background on my passions there, that kind of storytelling, creative storytelling, to my journalistic experience that I've had in Tulsa.
Sure, it's a natural fit.
And it just dropped in my head. Evan Hughes. So if you haven't heard of Evan Hughes, some people will say he's a comedian. Some people will say he's much more than a comedian. About 8 people told me that I needed to book him for the Coca Cola Porch, and I did not know.
What does he have a special or something? I feel like I know this name.
A lot of things. You need to watch the documentary because it is nuts.
Okay.
I went down a rabbit hole. There's definitely a collective of people who know him around the downtown area.
Yeah.
So he does a lot for the comedy scene here. So he pulls people together.
I think he was at Sandbox last night.
I bet. Oh, he really was.
Or he was at the because we're all
he wants
going
to get into acting.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he also does this thing where he will like 20 of your posts.
Yeah.
People will take a screenshot and say they've been blessed by Evan Hughes.
Oh.
Now, if you go on Facebook and just put Evan Hughes in the search bar and click on posts, pretty much all the posts, you don't have to put Tulsa, just Evan Hughes. All the posts are of him. Pretty much. I would say 98%.
Check it out, ladies and gents.
And you'll see like people have been blessed by Evan Hughes.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, and there was such a rabbit hole. Like he's been involved with the rap scene here. Who knew?
Yeah.
So I just... 8 people told me to book him. I didn't get it. I booked him. And then I thought, there's an interesting story there that I want to share with Tulsa and beyond.
Yeah.
So we filmed the documentary. And that's the first one. We're waiting.
What was your what was your hook? Because he sounds like an interesting chap.
Yeah.
Now where interesting chap?
Well, yeah, he is though. That's
Hello.
I just didn't get it. and then now I see what other people see.
No, I mean, what was your hook on the documentary? So you say you have a documentary about him?
It's done. My son edited the whole thing, and
shout out to Lucas in the
Yes.
studio doing a little filming of his
great
own.
job. And then Tanner Ray filmed it.
Nice.
So, and we just interviewed lots of people, tried to get visuals. It's my first documentary, so I learned a lot.
Yeah,
The second
bet.
documentary I'm doing is of Daniel Gulick,
Okay.
who is an artist here, who is an advocate and ally for the LGBTQIA community, who gets
great.
a lot of death threats sometimes when he's working on a project. And I know we're living in Tulsa. There's a dispensary and a church on every corner. It's a very interesting demographic.
It really, it's very unique.
Yeah.
I find all different walks of life.
Right?
There is a very interesting melting pot in Tulsa.
Very much so.
That is very cool to sort
Yes.
of artistically see grow and prosper
For sure.
within the film industry and beyond. you
Yeah.
know.
So yeah, we're working on that now. But he's also great friends with. Don't quote me on the names, but there's a band member of Bush that he is really good friends with. So we're hoping to interview him.
I used to love Bush, man. That
Me
was my
too, back in the
jam.
day. Yeah, I love their old time.
Keep me
Yes.
Give me some more money.
Yeah, it's in the car. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
man.
what we drove to. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, he's an interesting, but these are interesting people in Tulsa. I mean, why is he still compelled to create these events? So he did the nude creative shows. That's what they were called for 20 years, and he ended at Kane's Ballroom. He's a
Shout out to Canes, man.
Yeah,
Canes does
Canes-
a lot of good events. No, because
They
my
do.
wife, shout out to Riverfield. They take their rock
yes,
and roll
I love her.
students.
She's been on the porch. She's
Yeah,
very
she has
talented.
been. She sends her love.
I guess. I love her.
The Canes let these kids like come to their spot as kids and live school of rock. Like they
know that.
play
Wow.
at Canes at the end of the year.
I love that.
And what a freaking experience for them to sort of not have to. It's just
It's so iconic.
Yeah.
And there's so much history there.
good on them.
And it's haunted, which I love.
Even better.
Because it's got,
Have you ever done any kind of spooky stories? I mean, Halloween-ish?
Yes, we've had one of the paranormal. She owns a paranormal touring company where you can go and tour and do paranormal investigations.
Did you go?
At locations? Not yet, but we've had her on.
Was it weird?
Love it. No, I love that stuff.
I've never. I don't buy it because I've never seen it. I really
You
would
have to
love to see it.
experience
Yeah,
it,
I mean,
yeah.
it's like I feel like at some point or another I've seen like auras. So I feel like I get that notion.
Yeah. There's
But
something
the
else
ghosts
there.
and I just.
But I think it could
wanna
be also
believe.
a reflection of something energetically traumatic that happened at the time.
Sure.
That
Yes,
can be
the
scientific.
The vibrations. I
Yeah.
believe in that there's mojo out
But
there.
she goes to hospitals, and the thing is, you're an actor and you're very in tuned and open. So I don't know, PJ, how you could not go into a place like an abandoned hospital and not feel something weird.
Oh, dude, when I did Cuckoo's Nest, we went into the old mental ward where it was filmed and it was being ripped apart, right? So there were parts that were still there that we could go to, and there were other parts being ripped apart. Dog, you could see, it was almost like Godzilla had come and crunched it in half. And you could see they were like still drawings on those rooms.
That's creepy.
That got me to thinking like a mofo. But that
That's
image
supposed to
stays
upset
with-
paranormal activity is construction.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yes.
I don't know. I heard.
That was like, I was like, that's wrong. That
There's
should
a-
have been taken off.
There's a lot of haunted places here
Oh
in Tulsa.
man, the energy in that spot, dog. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But I mean, if you also, when they say that theaters are haunted, I believe that because like the Spotlight Theater also has a lot of history. But if you passed away, wouldn't you want to go and hang out
Oh,
in
no,
like
look,
backstage of a theater?
Make my ass a ghost light, please.
Yes, that's what I mean. That's what they call it, the
Please,
ghost
powers
lights.
it be. Light that mofo up, and I will inhabit it as well as I can.
Yeah.
Yes, when you go into and you feel the vibrations of, like the Cherry Lane Theater is a place in New York. It's an off-Broadway space. It's got a lot of history, some dope. If
Yeah.
you don't know the Cherry Lane, just look at the people that have marched on those boards.
Just Google it.
I got a chance to do something there, and it was just, you could feel the humming. You
So
know,
that's it. That's all that is.
I got to do Shakespeare at the Folger in D.C., and you are performing above like the tomes underneath.
Is
Like
it the
as
Shakespeare Theater or the Folgers is different?
No, different. Shakespeare Theater is amazing. Folger actually is part of the library.
Got
so
it.
they have
I
the
did-
Shakespeare
yeah.
folios underneath.
Who did you play in Shakespeare? Who would you Puck?
No, oh man, I
feel
never
like
got a
that's
shout.
like
I
your
never got
typecast.
No, I was Benny. I was Benny in Much Ado, Benedict and Much
Oh,
Ado.
that makes sense.
Oh.
Oh, you could so be.
Oh, we did. Dude,
Love
I got
that.
to walk in with like an airplane jacket and a silk scarf and I mean, it was banging.
Who
And
played Beatrice?
oh my God, I'm forgetting her name for a second. I have it. Kate Norris.
And it
You
was
want-
a great experience.
Unbelievable.
It's so fun that
I
way.
very rarely meet people who like jam at the level that I want to jam at. And Kate, she would literally, when we were working on shit, walk around the block so that I could have time to rehearse, like go through a monologue, and then she would suddenly appear
I love that.
at like
Connections,
2 in the morning.
chemistry. Yeah.
Oh man,
You have to have chemistry for
She
that,
was delightful.
for those two characters.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
But yeah, I love also I highlight theater on the porch. So yeah.
That's what I have yet to sort of delve as much as I want to into the theater community because I've been trying to make the film stuff
But you're
happen
doing
so much.
something at American Theater
We're
Company.
yeah. There's lots of things that are slowly happening. There's a
Doing
one-man
lot
show
of
that's
things.
coming.
Oh
that's
my
coming,
gosh, I'm
that-
so
that-
excited.
Yes,
You have to
it's-
come on the porch to talk about it.
Yes, but that you've been so solid to me in there. What's the thing? What are the things we need to look out for? What are the things that are trending? Like what's the act or two that you want to do a shout out to in Tulsa that you've come across?
Well, that's a strange question because a lot the other shows in our news station, they book 2 months out. I don't.
Right.
I do very dangerously. I book a week or two out because I want the best. I want to cultivate that particular segment
And
write
find the moment.
scripts. Yes. So I do wait to find the best. Now we do get a lot in, and then I have to sort through them, and I have to pitch everything.
Right.
So next week already, we have a military wife who created a podcast, but about military wives throughout history. So that we have that. Caroline Schaefer is wonderful. She's
Jamming.
very talented. And then we have
What's her
from a
podcast
movie
called? What's her podcast called?
for her. Oh my goodness! I'm gonna have to give it to you. At the
Yeah,
end to
we'll put it up
up
there. We'll give you a solid.
But yes, she's just launching it this Friday.
Oh, good.
So yeah, so it's
Welcome to launching a
new.
podcast.
Or you have to tune into the porch and find out.
Oh, there you go. Must see
Yes.
TV right there with Abbie De Vera.
We're also featuring a movie that you were in.
Oh, come on now.
Last
We're talking.
Rodeo
Yeah, the last rodeo's
on
coming
Friday.
out. It's good. There's a movie coming out in theaters that I'm in that you could actually see in theaters and not stream it, not do this.
Always in something though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's smoke and mirrors, but
Yeah.
there's that one. I had a fun time on watching both, just being and watching that stuff go down and having a front row seat.
Did
to
they
it.
film that here in
Yeah.
Tulsa? Yeah, that's what they
Here
were
or
saying.
in Tulsa?
Well,
Both.
here, okay. Well, it is Tulsa,
No,
but I mean,
They've
here.
had premieres slowly across. They had one in Dallas. They're having one in
Oh, yes.
OKC. I think it might be part of Dead Center as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the people that got into Dead Center, a wonderful festival in
Yes,
town in
yes.
OKC. Adam Hampton, who's been on the pod.
Love him.
Yeah, dog. 3 films I saw that you're involved in, man. Congratulations, my brother. Enjoy that time
Still
out
has
there,
to
man.
come on the porch. I'm gonna invite him again.
Yeah,
he's just so
he-
busy. He's always on set and
He
traveling.
came to the table and it was like, oh, that's part 1. There's gonna there was so many we just got to we haven't had a chance to work together, so we just kind of got to know each other at the table, and there were so many things we're like,
I
we
can
didn't
see you
talk
working
about
with-
that.
I could see you working with him. Yeah,
Huh?
I can see-
We will.
yeah.
We will at some point.
He's just so subtle.
Yeah,
I
he's
just was
he-
sort of blown away by that. He's not over the top. He's just very.
There's a
in the
poet
moment,
in
subtle.
that man. There's
Yes.
that. I mean, he puts that stuff out there online, and there's just a really cool artist there.
Yeah,
I like his vibe a
absolutely.
lot.
For sure.
And I like the projects that he's getting involved with and the people. Shout out to Kyle, a director that he's worked with a bunch.
He's been on the porch.
He's great. He's going to be in Arkansas with me. He's probably going to be.
I want to
Dead
work
Center.
with. I'll just say, I'd love to work with you. Give me a background role. I actually have been a background role in that. I was a reporter.
I have seen
one
your
of his
work at
movies.
the box, and you are much better than just background, darling.
Oh well, thank you. I
You got
appreciate
chops.
It.
It's
Yeah,
good.
thank you. Yeah, that honestly, the Sandbox. Have you talked a lot, talks about that a lot. It's
if you want to, give it some flowers.
Just rejuvenating the creatives, the actors, not only the actors, but the writers, anyone that loves filmmaking at the core of it. You just come and it literally is playing in a sandbox, but sometimes you don't get a script, but sometimes you do, but that's the nature of the business. Then you stay and you enjoy and you watch these stories come to life in a way.
And then you connect with those artists afterwards.
Yes.
There is a hang afterwards. And that's I remember when the first person was like, make sure you hang after. Because that's when it's authentic for an audience that just experienced the first time for the writer and the first time for the actor underneath a roof to then authentically say, man, that jam was awesome. And it's true.
Yeah.
It's not something that they've need to say, want to say. It's just something that they were moved to say. I could tell I
see what you mean.
There were 4 projects last night that had been gotten to life from Sandbox that were being talked about the creatives there. Well, that makes me thrilled.
And there's also another film that actually got funding. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's exactly what I was part of and saw happen in New York. I got so many opportunities. I truly have. There's one of the there have been many hosts of the night over the 30 years or whatever I did it, but I had one of the guys who was attached to it for a long time reach out to me and say that he's so proud of what I'm trying to put together here, and that it feels like a natural
You're
evolution.
Inspiring the community.
I'd like to. I mean, I don't want to say that about myself, but if I can, I'm happy to.
Well, I'll say it.
But there's a lot of community here to inspire. And there's a lot of hungry artists coming from all different angles, from all different walks of life. From many, I mean, these 2 cats present me with this, that I have suddenly the springboard to give you a voice, give artists a voice here. And I know that there are people, and thank you, the people who are listening on both coasts, that have had an experience with me and have reached out to me and said really sweet things about the podcast. I am trying to put a great product out here. I believe in these 2 gentlemen that do it with me. Thank you for your support of it.
Yes. Well, it's up to you.
What's next? What's the big thing? You got the doc?
Yes, we're still working on the artist doc. The whole idea is that, maybe 50, I'll say this funnily, but 50 years from now, maybe the Coca Cola Porch won't be here, but we can always uplift other creatives in the community. And I also am trying to work on projects like film. I'd like to do a little more acting.
Yeah.
I do.
That's why I dragged you. And
don't we have the same agent? And so
yes,
I am
Christina.
auditioning.
Good.
Yeah. So we'll just.
It spurns it all, right?
Yeah.
If you have a success, this is a success. I feel very proud of this work and this conversation, though I might not have an audition tomorrow. The fact that I got to meet another artist and talk about your journey, my journey together, trying to make the craft something special and hit people in their hearts, in their minds. It's something that I'm thrilled to do. I do not take it lightly. And I never want to seem like I know more than anybody else, but I
have experience.
I've been lucky
and
to
you bring
have
it
some.
You bring purpose, which is contagious.
Oh, that's cool. That's a very very sweet.
So thank you. Thank you for what
pleasure.
you're doing.
Thank you for continuing to support. Thank you for joining me at the table. Shout out to all the artists, the last rodeo that's coming out, all the people that are going to have fun at Dead Center this weekend, the people making independent film. If you want to find yourself on the porch, how do they reach out? Or have you
No, they can. I love them. Please reach out to me. And I would email the newsroom. You could email Abbie.DeVera at griffin.news. Now I have to pitch all my segment ideas. So try to make it a story. Don't just send me your website to your business. Like, how did you start the business? What inspired you? Because we've had some people who created sourdough businesses on. And it's a fun story. And then she sits in the kitchen or stands in the kitchen and shows us all her sourdough bread and why she was inspired to do it. So honestly, the sky is the limit. If we haven't had something like you on, email us. I need pictures. I need video. I need a brief description.
Have a pitch for her pitch. Don't leave her hanging.
Because I won't be able to pitch it effectively. Because honestly, he rarely says no to me.
What is that pitch room like? just real quick, because that way when you keep saying that you have to pitch these projects, is it quick? Is it?
I'll tell you a secret.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
News people are visual creatures. Show them what it's going to look like. Don't just tell them they're eccentric. Show them this is why I'm eccentric. So video, pictures, a website, anything that establishes what you're telling me in a brief description that brings it to life. Okay, we can use these elements in the segment. So we want to know it's a story.
So
think in those terms.
I think I said it on the first damn podcast that I put out there. Bring it. Don't talk to me about it.
Yeah, you do. You should. Just send me the script. Subject line.
There have been times throughout this career where I will sit with someone and they'll be like, I'm working on something. I'm like, oh, are you? Well, out of the bag. This thing's actually like done and it's really good by so and so and so and so and so. Well, we want to work on that. Okay. Well, what do you? Oh, you want? Well, what about this? Is it's done. Like nothing. Just give it a. No, you want it. Okay. See y'all.
Yeah.
It's a really it's an interesting. Yeah, man. I think it's so important. I'm glad you're putting that out there because it is.
Yeah,
don't just come with the idea.
It's an honor to share these stories in the community. So the more you send me, the more I can pitch it to get you on. And I believe, and we've had a lot of alumni working on completely different projects, but we want the world to know.
Yeah. And you get 3 minutes, ladies and gents.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Let me tell you, the last time I was on, it was like I mentioned 3 things and we were like, okay, see.
And we went over for yours.
Oh
it was like 3:45. But that's because Tess always goes, I shouldn't say that, but she does make sure it's tied in a bow. She doesn't rush it.
No, it's
and
great.
I love her. She's
that
great.
She wanted to hit these points and I'm also, you need to summarize your stuff.
Think bullet points when you're answering.
Don't ramble like I do on this podcast. Be more succinct.
You know what I loved about when you were on the second time is that you had to film, everyone has to film a teaser if they're interviewing upstairs. And Sosko just like ran in, like flipped up on the couch, came back up, showed his T-shirt, had another prop. I mean, he brought it in. That is
props,
honestly, I have PR people and bless their hearts, and they just don't know what to do. They're just wave and smile. Like, be free,
You make me feel comfortable coming there, though, too. You make a really good point of doing that. So, because
that's part of it.
Yeah.
It's the collaboration. Like, thank you. I'm honored to tell your story.
Yeah, now tell it in your way.
Yes.
So when you come to the porch, come with everything humming.
Yeah.
Because your full self will be able to realize in those 3 minutes if you come prepared.
Embrace. Yeah. Just enjoy it. Have fun. It does feel like a roller coaster. Like it's done. Everyone says that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so much prep and so much thought about it. And this, Carrie, when he came on, my friend who did this thing, he wanted to know questions. He was like, what are we going to...
Everyone asked that.
I'm like, look, it's just going to be loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
And it's going to be authentic. Because I keep saying that, but it's like... And he's like, so you're not going to... I'm like, no, it's going to start. You know what's going to start? When you and I hung out and met each other.
Yeah.
You know what's going to end? Pretty much where we're at right now.
That's what I love to capture, though. This connection.
Yeah.
Don't look at the camera. Just look at the host. Yeah.
And there's...
I mean, this is different, but yeah.
We'll have moments where you look at the camera.
Yeah.
Well, we have probably reached our end. I don't want to go too far, but thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. I've been looking forward to having you here. And I love that I can give you... You're someone who isn't normally getting a chance to be interviewed.
Thank you.
And you should be because your voice is so needed.
Appreciate it.
And there's a lot of love in your direction and goodwill in your direction that I've heard.
I love
and everybody
Tulsa.
enjoys having it.
Yeah.
Well, I do as well. Ladies and gentlemen, come visit Tulsa. Come to her porch, not her actual porch. Nobody needs to show up with like a Coke saying, hey, what do we do now?
My dogs wouldn't like that.
Don't do that. There's a whole thing. You have to go through a process. Abbie De Vera, thank you for joining me on the show.
Honored.
Thank you for listening, everybody, and continuing to come and join me at this table. I don't have the notebook in front of me where I wrote it, so I'm going to be really smooth about this because I forgot about the extro, the outro So I wanted to give us. I love the world of what was the world of Hollywoodlands?
The world of Hollywoodlands.
Yeah.
Now we filmed it like a mockumentary. Like I said, that's the first project I really ever did. But the concept is so hot. We wanted to try to film it again, but then I moved to Tulsa. So
check out her stuff on IMDb. Here we go. I want to you check us out at the sosk.substack.com. You can check me out at www.pjsosko.com. These guys are at www.streamliner.com. Huff, the man behind the camera. Sosh, the Lord of the Board, Abbie De Vera at the table. Thank you for my studio audience. Thank you for Lucas for grabbing us behind the scenes stuff, whatever that's going to be. And we got more content coming to you on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you next week. Peace out.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Hey, everybody, we're gone. Peace out.
Oh, look at my fans.
Goodbye.
I love that.